Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers presented by Mortgage CS. Check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to start your home buying process today. Company NMLSID number 1464766. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me today, we have the one and only JP Zapata, as well as Broad Street Hockey's Kelly Hinkle, and it is Ugly Jersey Day. Kelly actually wore a decent jersey.
I wore my most random jersey.
Yes, it is very. I don't even know who the player on the back is.
It's Francis Lessard. The real ones know. It's the Francis Lessard Phantoms jersey.
I love
and
it.
I am not wearing my ugly jersey. It's right here on the table. We're going to get to everyone's top 5 worst Philadelphia jersey lists somewhere during this show, inspired by the Phillies City Connect jerseys, which are hilarious, quite honestly. A few things going on around the NHL, though, that I want to get in on first. I guess let's just start with some things that kind of concern the Flyers. Getting caught up on 32 Thoughts today. Elliot Friedman and Jeff Marek discussing some of the recent trade rumors. Of course, it was recorded prior to the today's trade, the Monahan trade.
Yeah.
But it's in reaction to the Elias Lindholm trade. Mm-hmm. And they're just talking, well, the Flyers, obviously, they're in a rebuild. They have some guys people are interested in. Elliot says he would be more surprised than not if Nick Seeler doesn't re-sign with the Flyers, which is interesting. I mean, they've told us they're interested in re-signing him, but it's like, yeah, that's a nice negotiation ploy. But it seems like they actually might be interested in re-signing him, and they are looking to get Travis Konecny done. And he's not eligible till July 1st, but it's something that would tell me they're not trading him. Like, definitely not before the offseason will they be trading Travis Konecny, unless he just goes, my thing is, yeah, he's interested right now, and then he's going to go to the All-Star game and, like, get a pass from McDavid and be like, oh, my God. That was like a warm, like, that was just like a nice warm biscuit right on the stick.
I feel like we've said this about every Flyer that's ever gone to the All-Star game. Like, Claude Giroux is going to get a taste of good players and be like, I'm fucking out of here.
Why can't they get these players here, Bill?
I mean, I suppose they could, but I just, it made me laugh just thinking of like, oh yeah, Konecny wants to get it done now because this is the only thing he knows is the Flyers. And then he gets drafted by Team McDavid. He's like, oh shit. Is this an option?
They like
me.
I'm
not the best player. I get to like imagine what he would do on that team. Like, put him on that power play, and he gets 90 points by accident. Yeah. But I mean, so does half the league. Look at Zach Hyman's numbers this year. But I just thought that was interesting.
It is.
Like, Konecny at least is a high-end guy who you can. Okay, we have him through his prime and maybe a few years after, but you can project that he's going to be pretty good, at least, for a majority of whatever contract extension they were to sign him to. I like Nick Seeler a lot. He's a good player. Mm-hmm. He's turned himself into a actual top 4 defenseman. He blocks a ton of shots, contributes on the penalty kill, hard-nosed guy, team leader, all that stuff. Man, if you can't find a Nick Seeler,
really?
Like, if you can't just at a deadline when you're actually good and looking to add, we need some defensive depth. If you can't find yourself the next Nick Seeler, what do you have scouts for? Like, why do you have a front office? Like, if Nick Seeler is so important to this thing, I don't want to demean Nick Seeler because he's worked hard to get to the point he is. But the dude's what, 29? Like,
he's 30.
He's 30. For what are we re-signing Nick Seeler? Are they going to contend for a Stanley Cup next year? And if you really love Nick Seeler, and Nick Seeler really loves it here, sign him in July. Like, bring him back.
Yeah.
Like, I know we always say that.
Should be
like,
a priority.
It so rarely happens that those things actually happen.
Yeah.
But, like, if you love him so much and he wants to be here, just say, hey, man, we're going to get a second-round pick for you, and then we're going to bring you back. What? Was he getting an 8-year extension? Like, no. So what's it matter if he re-signs now or signs after going somewhere? Like, what am I missing here with Nick Seeler?
So they are obsessed with him.
They seem to be.
And I feel they've been obsessed with him since the
Since
moment
he fought Nick
decided
Deslauriers.
to fight Nick
Yeah.
Deslauriers. Jonesy, who I love desperately at this point, probably fucking loves Nick Seeler. And like, Nick Seeler is fun. He's fine. And I wouldn't care so much about like if they sign a 30-year-old guy to be a third pair defenseman for 2 years. Like normally I'd be like, well, who cares? But the problem is the Flyers have so many defensemen in the system that they got to start getting NHL time to see what they have. And if Nick Seeler's playing every night, that's a spot that one of these kids can't take.
Yeah, he's definitely improved. Like you can see it out there. The one thing that I do notice is that I don't know if it's just towards his system, but like defensively, he's been such a big help. We talk about it while we watch games every night. He's taking block shots every single night. It's like 2 or 3 at least that he's taking.
Trust your goalie.
He has really turned himself
He's
into
Mr.
something.
Bruised up.
That said, like I don't want to, again, I don't want to disparage the good goddamn name of Nick Seeler here, but it's like, I look at what he has become and what he was a couple of years ago and just think like, man, remember what I thought about Travis Sanheim a year ago? Remember what Sean Walker, yeah, okay, he was a nice little player in LA, but like no one thought he was anything special, and now he's, after 2 trades, number 2 on the trade bait list. Like, Rasmus Ristolainen went from liability to, oh, yeah, we can live with that. John Tortorella and Brad Shaw have this ability to do this thing.
They do a thing.
Why can't they turn Igor Zamula into him? Or Ronnie Attard? Or Adam Ginning? Or like literally anyone else and get your draft pick compensation for Nick Seeler? Like, you have this thing that clearly works. Brad Shaw and John Tortorella turn pedestrian guys into useful players.
Yeah.
Igor Zamula has, like, fixed the power play. I don't think anyone had that on their fucking... No matter what you thought of Igor Zamula before this season, it wasn't like, oh, yeah, he's going to be our most productive guy on the power play. No one thought that, including Igor Zamula. Like, his mom didn't think that was
maybe his mom.
Like, his mother didn't think, oh, he's going to lead the team in power play points. I don't know if he actually does or doesn't, but in my mind, he does.
He could.
I mean, like, Travis Konecny has 4, so it's not that hard to probably lead this team in power play points. I'm just saying, if you have this ability to do this with guys, and there is the mentality of, like, he did go and fight Nick Deslauriers, which... If you watch Nick Deslauriers this year, he's having real trouble finding anyone to fight. Yeah, like nobody really wants any of him. No. Even the dudes who do fight him are like Pat Maroon in their first fight was like, I'm just going to hold you out here, bud. Yeah. Like, I don't really want to trade fists with you, but you challenged me and I'm Pat Maroon, so I can't say no. Like, Deslauriers or like Seeler said, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Well, and I just...
What?
What's going on here?
The last comment in the chat.
Seeler
Brian.
Walker.
Are you sure he's not
I have questions
confusing
for
him
you,
with
Brian.
someone else?
Yeah, are you confusing Jamie Drysdale with somebody else? You might be.
You can't trade Jamie Drysdale.
That's a spicy
Jamie Drysdale's going nowhere.
No.
He's signed for very little money for 2 more years, and he has number 1 defenseman upside.
We got the T-shirt on the PHLY Sports locker. Yeah. All right. He's not going anywhere.
And make sure you get that at PHLYlocker.com. Dry guy to fly guy. Yeah,
Thank you, Brian.
Jamie Drysdale's going nowhere.
No.
That's crazy talk. Like, what would they even...
No, I don't want to. We don't need to address it. I just saw it out of the corner of my eye.
This idea of re-signing Nick Seeler, like, at the end of the day, it's not going to be for a ton of money. Like, he makes, what, $775 or something right now?
Yeah.
It's going to be very little money. I can't imagine it's even a long-term, even if it is, like...
2 years, probably.
Yeah, 2-3 years. It's not hurting you in any way.
No.
outside of the idea, we got that question in the mailbag yesterday, Kelly. What has this team done to make you actually believe they're in a rebuild? Selling high on Nick Seeler is exactly what you do in a rebuild.
Do you ever see those people on Instagram that buy like a piece of furniture for $10 and then paint it and sell it for $500?
Yeah.
Like Nick Seeler is the cabinet that you found on the corner for $3.
You just found him at Goodwill.
Like you have to sell him because you can. Like, and you probably couldn't before. So like, why not? And
His value's
also
high right now too.
it's not really the money. Like, I don't really care what they pay him. He's taking a spot from one of these kids in the AHL that has to get NHL playing time. Like, eventually, these guys have to get playing time.
That's like Nick Seeler's 30. We talked about this yet. Like,
Yeah.
there's no more to uncover with Nick Seeler.
Now we
It is
got
what
him.
it
That's
He
it.
has turned himself into a useful player. No doubt about it. This is it, though.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, oh, well, let's see. What's he going to be next year? Next year, he's going to be a year older, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This
Like,
or worse. Is
yeah,
the,
like,
those are the options.
We're
Yeah.
seeing it with Scott Laughton. Like, maybe Scott Laughton bounces back, but the best we can hope for out of Scott Laughton is what he was like 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, he's not getting any better. Nick Seeler, he wasn't a full-time NHLer until the Flyers brought, and now
Nope.
he has to be a part of this thing.
Yeah.
Like, I just find that insane. Like, Travis Konecny, I'm looking at some of the returns on some of these deals and thinking, oh,
Yeah.
maybe you have to do it. But, like, at the end of the day, he's a really good player. Like, he is a top-line caliber player.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That is not what Nick Seeler, like, on a actual Stanley Cup contending team.
Oh, Nick Seeler's
Seeler
not
is-
playing.
Nick Seeler is, oh, someone got hurt and we can throw him in and it's not going to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Or like he's or he's a third pair at best.
He's a 7 on a good team.
But also,
What
the
are we
past-
doing?
But also, the past couple of years, he's been like our 6th or 7th defenseman now. Like, and again, like I think you nailed it as well. Like this coaching staff has found a way to develop a lot of these guys. Like you mentioned, Sean Walker as well, Igor Zamula, Travis Sanheim have all had improvements here. So logically, it just doesn't make sense to give Nick Seeler another contract here. You know what he is. Bring up the younger kids and develop the rest of the young kids as well.
Yeah.
Wherever it comes through.
Yeah, before he got to Philly, Sealer
He
played.
was in Minnesota, right?
Of
Yeah.
course he was, because Chuck Fletcher brought him back.
A lot of
Sealer
those
played
Minnesota-
basically in 3 years, 1 year's worth of games.
Yeah.
In the first 3 seasons before he gets to Philly. Like, I just don't understand what we're doing. If we're not opening up, we say we need high-end guys, and I don't think you're ultimately going to replace, like, oh, the Nick Seeler replacement isn't someone who's going to win you a Norris Trophy,
Mhm.
No.
but it's got to be someone with higher upside than Nick Seeler. Nick Seeler's going to play all of next season at 31 years old.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
what? There's no room for improvement here.
No.
He's what he is, or worse.
So if I may, I want to ask a question. Do we have to make a deal with one of those defensemen at the deadline?
Sean Walker,
you
100% must
have
be
to.
traded simply
I would
because
That
he's gonna
value.
get overpaid in free agency. I want
Yeah.
nothing to do with the next Sean Walker contract.
And someone will give us a first.
Yes,
For Sean
So
Walker.
please.
So you got to get it.
Sean Monahan just went for a first. He's
Oh
a
my
nice
God.
player. He is not. I mean, no. I thought it was wrong. Did
I
you see
know.
what the condition on the other pick is?
You have
No,
to like
I didn't.
reread it. Like
What
what?
If they win the cup, if the Jets win the cup this year, they get a 4th in 2027.
I love when they put these weird ass conditions on these things.
I
It's
love
like,
a good conditional trade.
All right.
But I thought that was funny.
How'd we
That,
come
like,
up with that
and then
one?
4 years from now, you'll get or 3 years from now, you will get something if we win the cup this year. Like that's a good condition.
Sure.
But regardless, they got a 1st round pick, and that gets me to like really more than anything the Scott Laughton conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe a little Morgan Frost because of the offensive upside. But really, it's, yesterday when we're talking Laughton, I'm just, did they miss the boat on the 1st round pick? Is whatever return they get now going to be what they could have got over the summer?
I don't know. That Monahan trade.
And
got
now
me
I see
thinking.
this Monahan trade, and it's not even Konecny or anything higher end. It's like, yo, I like Scott Laughton, but he's not worth what we're going to get for him.
Theoretically. Although, I don't know if you saw, Konecny did make a comment about how much he likes playing with Laughton on the penalty kill. And
Raise
I
that
was like,
value. Raise that value.
and then I was, because you remember how we were talking yesterday about how like subtracting Laughton from the locker room might be like a bigger deal than we want it to be.
Yeah.
And that makes me think that it could be, but also they're adult men, professional athletes.
Like, they all know what
gotta,
this is.
Yeah.
Like, I guess everyone thinks, yeah, but not him. Like, yeah, it's a rebuild, and I knew that coming in, but that doesn't mean me or him. But the coach is telling us that they're going to trade dudes. And when he said we can't fall in love with guys, like, to me, that means one of his guys.
Yeah.
And that's Scott Laughton. Like, he has not been good this year. That's the other thing. Like, he has been good on the penalty kill. Him and Konecny together are a good duo on the penalty kill. So I guess, like, he has a role, like a thing that you say, okay, this is, but what team won't need penalty killing in the playoffs? And like, that makes him valuable elsewhere.
Very true.
And the centers are getting picked up pretty quickly.
That's two of the top centers. That's that's why I'm throwing Morgan Frost into this as well.
I was thinking that too.
He appeared on the trade bait list, and it's like,
people need
man,
centers.
He's turning himself into something. What do I actually think Morgan Frost is, though, versus what I think they could get for him? Man, if it's anything like Monahan, and like Monahan's 29, he's a little younger. Now, he hasn't had the long-term success that Sean Monahan has had, but upside and put him in a role, like if you put him on a functioning power play or something, like a power play 2, suddenly that's good. Like,
you put him on a team with guys that can finish, and he's going to be very valuable to you.
The Morgan Frost one's interesting because, like, Scott Laughton, like we talked about before the season, there was actual value for him. And after this Monahan trade, you're thinking, okay, well, someone's got to want lots. But the Morgan Frost one's interesting because we've seen him improve ever since the whatever argument happened in John Tortorella's office there. But he's a young player. But like you mentioned, if someone's willing to offer the assets, how are you going to say no?
For a guy who just, I think maybe there might be something more there with him than we thought.
Yeah.
But I still question if he fits into the long-term future.
You just got to MCW him, man.
So somebody in the chat makes a good point. So, okay, teams in the league need centers. Centers are getting moved right now.
Mm-hmm.
We have centers that other teams might want. We also need centers.
Yeah.
So, like, if we do end up trading Laughton and Morgan Frost or one of the two, that's another hole at center that the Flyers then have to deal with. So, like, how are we solving that problem? Are we drafting centers?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
That's why you're loading up on picks. And there's always the possibility, like in the Lindholm trade, where you get actual players back.
Yeah.
How far away they are from the NHL. Like, maybe they're a few years in. Maybe it's another team's Morgan Frost, a reclamation project.
Yeah.
Maybe it's prospect. Like, it's not just, like, futures aren't just second-round draft picks. Like, you can get actual dudes for that too, who might be able to come in like an Owen Tippett. And it's like, oh yeah, well, he hasn't really established himself, and now you give him that opportunity. Maybe he's just as good as Morgan Frost, but on a cup contending team, they're not like playing the development game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just throwing like Scott Laughton is who they want, because coaches hate not knowing what kind of mistakes you're going to make. Like, coaches deal with a Scott Laughton. It's like, yeah, he's not that good, but I know what he's going to do. It's like we always said about Brandon Manning, like, not good, but know exactly where he's going to be. You know, if I can't guess what your mistakes are going to be, then I don't want to play you.
Yes.
If I can guess, well, you're a cemented NHL player. Like, I just think there's a possibility here for the Flyers to extract some real value for guys that aren't going to really be that big a factor.
I mean, they're definitely listening on literally every player.
Yeah.
So I have to believe that if Danny Briere gets,
if they shop Carter Hart, then they're accomplices.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see that. That was a hilarious take.
The idea, I guess maybe because we're so engrossed in it, and the Carter Hart rumor has been going around so long, but like the entire hockey world has known about the 2018 scandal for years.
Yeah. And
that's why he didn't get traded.
Right.
Do you think, like, look at what's going on in net for Toronto? And they were like, oh yeah, we actually just don't want him based on his ability. They'd be winning the President's Trophy if they had Carter Hart.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everyone knew.
Yeah.
So
Oh man.
Everyone knew there was something going on.
everyone knew.
But
like,
anyway.
yeah, we don't have to get all that again. Anyway,
I just found that. I was like, what are you talking about?
they're listening on everybody. And I have to believe that if Briere gets a good enough offer for any of these guys, they're going to get traded. So it's just a matter of
He's
what
been doing good
people
on
are
trades
offering.
too. So he's definitely trying to find the best deals.
Do you think, like, the trade deadline's still over a month away? It's Friday, March 8th, I believe. Today's February 2nd.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe this is just special circumstance, a couple teams needing a couple things, like the Jets have been without some guys, and the Calgary situation where they're like asking players, do you want to stay or we're trading you? And Vancouver just being like, well, we're in. So they've made two trades already.
Yeah.
Like, do you think this is just special circumstance, or are things going to start heating up a little bit?
So I feel like the last couple of years, the trade deadline has kind of gone this way. Like the actual day has been a bit of a dud, but the weeks leading up to it, things start to get spicy. And maybe it's just starting a little bit earlier this year because there do seem to be, at this point in the season, a few teams that you absolutely know are going for it. And so they're like, well, what the fuck are we going to wait for? We know what we're doing. Let's just go. And so it makes sense that things are happening now. I'm not sure if there's going to be like a ton of trades happening, but I would imagine that just like last year, most of them happen in like the 2 to 3 weeks before the deadline. And not on the day of, which sucks because it used to be fun when all this stuff happened. I used to take off work.
No, there
year.
was a few years ago, there was a trade deadline, and it was when I was still with Sons of Penn, and we like all met in David Katai's basement, and we were like getting ready all day. We were like, we're gonna hammer not just the Flyers made no trades. No one made any trades, and we just got shit-faced and went to the game that night.
Incredible.
It was like,
that's beautiful.
It was just like,
we
wanted to work.
Can we recreate that here?
I think we're doing a show that day. I actually don't know. I think we're doing a show that day. Yeah, but yeah, if they don't tell me I have to, I'm gonna not do it. So. Maybe. But yeah, it was I just see like Holmgren always used to do it like it was like the Tuesday before. There was like a specific date that Holmgren made all of his moves on every year, like 3 years in a row.
Was it? It's June 23rd, isn't it?
But it was like in season.
Oh, okay.
There was like the Tuesday before the deadline or something. And this is now like we're a month out still.
Yeah.
And teams seem to be pulling the trigger. Do you think this makes Danny trigger happy, or it puts him in position like when all the dust settles, there's going to be multiple teams. Like, there's no one left except Scott Long.
Yes, that's the thing. I think that, especially with the centers, the way that they're going early like this, if that continues to happen, it is going to put Briere in a good position at the deadline because there's not going to be a lot to pick from. And if teams know that, hey, the Flyers are pretty much totally open to anything, you might have some teams willing to overpay for guys that otherwise might not have been moved at all.
I got to take a quick second to tell you all about PHLY Sports trips and the teaming up with PHLY that is about to go on for a trip down to Clearwater, baby. Oh, it is going to be a great time. If you've never been to Philly spring training, you are missing out on a great experience. If you have been, you know just how fun it is to head down to Florida with all the snowbirds and everything that goes on down there for these, exhibition baseball games. But that's just a small part of the action because PHLY Sports Trips plans out a whole experience for you, from flights and hotels to game tickets and transportation. But that's not all. Think about maybe hanging out with Charlie Manuel. Does that sound like fun? I've done it.
Probably.
It is. It's a great time. Dude rules. He's going to be a part of this trip as well. And I've been a few times to spring training. Never over St. Patrick's Day. This trip from March 13th to the 18th, well, it occurs over St. Patty's Day. There's this is so cool. An actual catered experience that day on a yacht.
Oh my God!
As part of this trip,
seriously.
we know how much Kelly loves to set
love a boat.
sail. This whole thing is going to be freaking ridiculous.
Getting Tom Brady drunk over here.
It's going to be absolutely outstanding. So make sure you head to allphly.com/events to learn more and book your trip. And I got to tell you, the grouper sandwiches down there, phenomenal. Just go for that. I mean, for that alone. Now, everything is a great time when you head down to Clearwater. It's so much more than just going and watching going and watching some preseason baseball. It's a whole experience. The games, you hang out at the tiki bar, ring a bell every time you have a few shots. It's just a great experience. So go to allphly.com/events and book through Philly Sports Trips. I promise you're going to have a great time. And I think now, because we didn't get to it yesterday, and I'm glad we're doing it today with JP here.
Yeah.
Let's get to the 5 worst jerseys.
Hell yeah.
We talked earlier this week. Now, the Flyers put out a jersey a few weeks ago, the Stadium Series jersey that I thought was pretty cool. And they've had some meh releases recently, so that was a nice change of things. But the Philly City Connect jersey came out, and it's ridiculous. I honestly think it's one of the worst jerseys I've ever seen, which led me to say, let's come up with the 5 worst jerseys in Philly history. And I'm going to lead it off with Kelly's list. Her bottom 5 jerseys. I don't remember what they are. I did have them written down at one point, but that was in yesterday's outline. And now I'm looking at today's. So let's go with Kelly's number 5 jersey.
Kelly.
Let's see what it is. Oh,
Yes.
You went with that's right. Yours is a little out of the box. You went with this Philadelphia Union away kit from 12-13.
I don't like this blue.
You don't like this blue?
I don't like that blue. It's not a terrible soccer jersey or kit, if you will. But all of the other Union jerseys are so good that this one sticks out really badly when you look at like a list of their jerseys. That blue is bad. It's not a good blue. The regular Union blue is good. Just stick with that.
Although I will say we are pretty successful when we wear that blue.
Really?
We are pretty successful.
Well,
we lost the MLS Cup in that blue against LAFC.
That one?
Well, not that one,
Or
but the
Union
same
blue.
color. Yeah, light blue.
Okay.
We've had some success with.
I
watched that game in Paris, JP.
I have an issue
hard.
11 p.m.
with all soccer jerseys that just the prominent
Bimbo.
like I know it's not pronounced bimbo.
Bimbo.
It's bimbo, right?
Well,
I just have a problem with this is America. You don't have to replicate everything. It's one thing I do appreciate about the Union is they didn't we're Real Salt Lake. No, you're fucking not, man. You're from Utah. You're Mormons. You're not Real anything. Just be the Salt Lake whatever. At least they're the Philadelphia Union, an actual American team name.
Oh,
but I
man.
just hate the
I know.
why is there an
Appreciate that.
advertisement instead of a logo?
I know.
Why can't I see the logo
It's a
on
lot.
this, but I can see the advertisement for I don't know what bimbo is.
They make snacks.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fine.
People like snacks.
Well,
but
I'll tell you
those
what.
are-
In round especially Latin America, that's like the number one bread. We have Stromans. In Latin America, it's Bimbo, and that's like the number one thing. But
Yeah, Bill.
that is funny, man. You're walking around with that jersey, your friends yo, dude, you got Bimbo on your shirt.
Yeah, I feel like a woman wears that, and it's just bad news.
I called
feel
my
that.
friend Bimbo Bill every time he wore it to a game. I don't know if he likes it or not, but I
Can't
did.
walk around with that label on you anyway. Let's go
Good.
to Kelly's number 4 worst jersey.
Okay.
This made my list as well. Let's
Yeah,
see
me
where it
too.
ends up. But the 50th anniversary, we were just looking at mine.
We have it in front of us.
goal-
The
is
Goss
bad.
Spare jersey I got, and I got this. I did not pay full price. I go to this place. It's around the corner from where I grew up. They sell K-Cups, knockoff handbags, Yankee candles that are somehow you light them and never smell. It's just there's no scent here. And jerseys that are either knockoffs or misprints. There's a black dot that you can barely see on the
Okay.
front of this jersey. And I feel like that's why it was in this store because it's pretty good. It's got the fight
Yeah, it's
strap and
pretty good.
everything. It's spelled right. But it's what's wrong with this jersey, Kelly? Why do we all hate it so much?
So gold and orange fundamentally
It shouldn't
do
go
not
together.
go together.
Facts.
The gold that they used is a weird brassy gold. They should have gone full Vegas Golden Knights and
Yeah.
done sparkle gold.
Exactly.
At least that would have been fun.
More black too.
But they shouldn't have made the numbers gold. They should have just stuck with the outlining in gold and maybe done the numbers black and outlined them in gold. I don't know. It's just not good. And also, this is one of my least favorite oranges that the Flyers have ever worn. It's a bad orange, and with the
you
gold,
don't like
it's
this
just-
because we talked about the best Flyers shirt, and even Charlie was the tie-up orange ones from the 2012 Winter Classic.
It's
he
great,
likes.
but I don't like that orange.
Okay,
It's not right. They fixed it this year.
they did.
They
They
did-
did
they
fix
fixed
it. I love that orange though. It's a little darker.
That jersey's great, but
Yeah,
it's not my
I
favorite
understand.
orange.
All right, but the 50th anniversary are just hideous. They're
They're bad. There's nothing good.
I just don't get what they were going for.
You never see anyone wearing them, like
No.
in life.
Like
Never.
that season, I remember seeing some, and then immediately, like
No.
there are more people wearing the 2012 fake Winter Classics than there are wearing the
100%.
50th anniversaries.
For sure.
100%.
I
All
don't
right,
get
let's
it.
go to Kelly's third worst jersey.
I have.
So
See,
no offense,
have it on.
JP, but this is, and I think Bill, you said the other day that this is like some historical nod to like an old team.
It's like,
Frankfurt,
yeah,
baby?
the Frankfurt Yellow Jackets or whatever from like the 30s or something.
No, this is bad.
I
It doesn't look anything like, there's nothing about this that says Philadelphia Eagles to me. If I just saw this picture, I would think it was the Rams or something. Like there's nothing about it that's Philly, and it's very yellow.
that's in comparison to the City Connect jerseys that they're trying to get, I guess it's the Philly flag or the PA flag, whatever the hell it is, the yellow and blue. One, yellow and blue make green. They wear green. That makes sense
Alright.
to me.
There you go.
Two, at least it's obnoxious and loud. Like that was my problem with the City Connect jerseys. Not only are they
It is that.
ridiculous looking, but they're embarrassed of themselves. Like go all out if you're going to be silly. Like put some flames on it. Make it look like Guy Fieri would wear this
Oh,
thing.
God.
Like and they came up short of even that.
Yeah.
At least these are stupid looking.
Fair enough.
And like they wore them one time. They put up, I just had it in front of me. I think they put up
Did they
49 points.
They
Oh, yeah,
killed
they
the
killed the
Lions.
Lions. They put up
Oh.
like 49 or
Remember that
56 that day.
Uh-oh.
They absolutely dominated.
Might have to bring them back.
So Tyler Zulli, who's a producer here at PHLY Sports, we had this conversation. So a lot of these jerseys, a lot of the reason why we have these is because either our parents or ourselves went to like your local Modell's and Dick's. This was on clearance. You're a broke kid. You got this is a Darren Howard, and you're buying it. So, but yeah, it was not very popular for obvious reasons here. The Eagles just in different colors besides green and black of some sort. It's just
It's
weird
very
as well.
weird. But no, I remember when the black jerseys first came out.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
it was
thought they
exciting.
were cool. But a lot of people, older fans, were like,
Yeah.
Eagles don't wear black. That's not part of their color
All right,
scheme. What are we
Charlie.
doing here?
It worked out
Like
well.
anything that isn't green is strange. And these aren't, I mean, these feature no green.
Yeah.
No green.
They are the
What-
elements of green,
whatsoever.
but not actually green. They are, no, I will never argue they aren't ugly, but I think they're ugly in the right way. Like if you're going to go for
I
it,
get that.
like go for it.
Yeah.
Let's go to Kelly's number 2.
Okay.
I've never
Where
even
did you
seen these.
find this, Kelly?
Okay, so we use the picture of the front of them. I need everyone to understand that the back of these jerseys do not feature the players. There it is.
Oh,
It's
right.
their Twitter handle. Okay, I am
I remember
like
this now.
hopelessly, terminally online. And even still, putting your Twitter handle on a sports jersey is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my life, and it makes me so
I
upset.
agree.
So that's why they're on there. Also, they aren't ugly, but like I feel like lacrosse jerseys can be ugly in the good way,
Yeah.
like you said. And
No,
and
these are stupid, but I kind of like them.
I can see this being ugly in the good way, but the Twitter
The
handle,
Twitter
is
handle,
just it's a
agreed.
bridge
No,
too
that's
far for
so
me.
weird.
I mean,
I can't.
The original XFL with the nicknames on the back.
Oh my god.
That I mean, like stupid stuff like "He Hate
Is
Me."
that
Like
He
we'll
Hate Me?
always remember.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah.
always remember that. These are bad,
No.
and I wish it was. Like what would make these? I think of like people's old Hotmails, like
Oh,
think,
God.
like your old email address from like when you were in 7th grade and got your
Flyers
first
Lover,
email address.
1975.
Like now people get email addresses when they're born and shit. But like when I got my first one in like the 7th grade, like if you had that on the back, like your original Twitter handle
be
would be
funny.
hilarious. It's like 10 years later, I don't even have Twitter anymore. It's like, well, here it is.
Here it
it's-
is.
Yeah. Bill Guy 44, you know, like,
69420.
but no, these are absolutely that does put it
it's so
over the
stupid.
top. And let's go to your number one worst. Yeah, these are
The
An
3Ds.
absolute abomination.
they are not good.
Yes. A scar on the face of the Flyers
I-
organization. Not only is the 3D logo ridiculous, like the Flyers logo is perfect. There's a reason why they have never had an alternate
They
logo.
have never and
don't-
probably will never.
They don't need to. Like the wings, like although the Leafs keep changing the leaf, and I don't know why they keep doing that.
Yeah.
But anyway, the logo is perfect. This 3D thing is terrible. And not only is the logo, I hate this jersey. Like the color blocking on it is terrible. I hate that silver stripe at the
Yeah,
bottom. What is that about?
What are
I
we
don't
doing with this
everything
silver
about this
stripe?
jersey is bad. It's terrible. It makes me upset every time I look at it.
I'll tell you. I have hated these for years, and when they came out, I was like, "These are asinine."
Mm-hmm.
They've grown on me over the years.
You're a sicko.
Maybe it's just that era. I believe they wore them in the Senators'
It was a
Brawl.
good era. It was a good era of Flyers hockey. But that jersey is just...
We were looking at something the other day, and Charlie and I both forgot that they wore these post-lockout at one point. Like, they were actually... Like, Peter Forsberg wore one of these jerseys, and that is not in my memory at all.
I apparently have also blacked that out of my...
but they are... Yeah, they've grown on me a little because of how bad some other jerseys are, and at least these are orange. You know, like at least they're orange.
Were they just trying to update the logo? Is that what the 3D was for?
Like what was it? Like 2001, 2002?
I think, yeah.
So it's just like
it's very early odds.
It's very that. It's like I always think of everything like the Phantom Menace when it came like this technology is cutting edge, and you look at it now like. Actually, shit from 10 years earlier looks way better.
Yeah, like what if we made the
Ghostbusters
logo 3D?
In 1984 looks better than the Phantom Menace.
No one
it's
asked
like someone
us.
drew that, you know. But like that is it's era appropriate, I would say. Like early 2000s, everything's technical looking, make it 3D. So that's Kelly's list. It's hard to argue. That jersey has grown on me over the years, not because it's good, but because they've put out other bad jerseys.
Fair enough.
Let's get to JP's list, starting with number 5. I haven't seen his list, so this is good.
Hey,
So
there it
the
is.
Gold Numbers has made every list. It's
Every
on mine.
list. It's terrible.
It's bad, and this is a great like. What team am I looking at? This like look the numbers and the orange
It's
stripe.
the Philadelphia Golden Knights, ladies and
Oh
gentlemen.
my god, yeah, and the era is also like what it just.
It was a bad time.
Yeah, so
Not
I
a
don't think
fun
we
time.
need to go over the gold numbers.
it's just bad.
It's bad. Let's go to number 4.
Number 4, we have here the 2020 Forever Union Faithful kit. So I had the privilege of being at Fox 29 for the Union's unveiling. We did it on the air at the morning show there, and I got one for free. And I grabbed it. And I was like, I'm very thankful I get a free jersey, but I don't really like this so much. But it's very simple. It was the 25th anniversary of the MLS, so that's why a lot of the teams, every team actually did the same thing, the 3 stripes and the plain look. So I don't like the way we talk about the beambo. I don't like the white beambo. It's very off-placing with the gold in there as well. So yeah, I'm just not a fan of this one.
Let's go to number 3.
This one might be controversial. I'm not sure.
Oh man, I love these.
I don't like the
That is a
2019
spicy
Stadium
take.
Series.
That's a good jersey.
I just need more out of it. I don't like just the simple orange and black in there, but
I
was my number
like
3.
see when you said they don't need to mess with the logo. I thought this was a good change for the logo.
To me,
Just
that's not
making
really
it
messing
one-
with it. Yeah, I like it.
Making it one color
Mhm.
and then the orange just being the circle and then the entire jersey is orange.
Yeah,
I dug these.
I like these jerseys too.
I call these the pumpkin jerseys. I don't know how else to
It's a
to
good-
me the front looks like a jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah.
Like the logo is the face of the
And also,
jack-o'-lantern.
that game was just so fucking good.
Oh, Ava has
I get
over
chills
me.
thinking about it.
Ava has over me forever. Like we're watching that game, and I'm just like, it's gonna take forever to get an Uber out of here. She's like, we can't leave. What do you
Oh,
mean we
no.
can't leave? I was like, fine, all right, fine, we'll stay. And then
Yeah.
I'm like, oh god damn it. And
That's why you're very
you
lucky
win,
to have
You
her.
win again. And I have never proposed leaving a game early. I was just like, this sucks. They're going to lose to the Penguins. It's raining. I want to go home. I got more beers at the house that I don't have to pay for. Let's just,
Yeah,
you know. But no, it was.
I did like the helmets. I'll say that. I did
The
like
helmets were
Helmets
sick.
were
I
cool,
wish,
yeah.
helmets.
with teams going all the different color buckets,
I wish they would.
I
bring
want
it,
an
yeah.
orange. I want something.
If
I want something new.
If
They
you
would
would
be
have said
nice.
uniforms, this excuse me, this wouldn't make the list. But because you said jerseys, this didn't make the list.
Fair
I
enough.
get it. I get it. And this is controversial, but it is different. It is a different one, and it's Wayne Simmons' last game. Like so much of it is
Yeah.
tied to what happened. I'm like, oh well, this is
It does pay me to put it in
that
there
was
'cause of the
Simmers'
game.
last game. They win an OT, but no, it's. I think there are different opinions on this one. I just happen to love it. Let's see number 2.
All right, so the process
Those are bad.
Sixers
You're
away. This
are
whole
bad.
era obviously was not fun on the court. The uniforms I don't like. I do have a couple of them only because I was a young fan and looking for some optimism. But yeah, this was just plain and ugly. I don't like it.
I just don't like red,
Yeah.
especially this red. And the Sixers have some really good jerseys.
Yes,
and
for
these
sure.
are
This
horrible.
era.
I fully agree
We
with
came
this.
from one of the best
It's
eras
just
too.
yeah.
like the AI days, and then they had like the updated look with when Elton Brand was I think it was his first year as well, but.
And there's like some good variations of these. Like the blue one of this I like.
That one's better.
And the blue with the red numbers I really like. Blue with filler, but these ones are these are bad. Honestly,
good.
I might have made this might be an oversight for me. I think I may have missed one. Let's go to your number one worst jersey.
Number one.
Oh,
Boathouse Row.
Why did they use Boathouse Row?
it's a blue collar hockey thing. That's what I will always associate this. Like how disconnected you have to be.
Seriously.
Like, oh, well, you know, Philly has so much more than the blue collar hockey thing. There's the nightlife, Boathouse Row. Oh yeah, man! I all those nights in Philly I spent on Boathouse Row.
Everyone's thinking about
I did
Boathouse
trespass there,
Row.
like for one of the best days of my life in a snowstorm. But we don't have to get into the specifics.
The only time
but
you
like,
even consider Boathouse Row is when you're stuck in fucking traffic.
yeah, you drive by it and go, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Like that's it. That's the only thing. And they just. Everyone wanted the black jersey. And
So
like, here
bad.
you go. It was like, oh, you got it wrong still.
And that's one of the reasons why I hate it. And also because of the man you guys see
Yep.
on the picture here. Ben Simmons had a big part to do with the creation of these uniforms. Like you said, completely disconnected. So many more dope things you could have done with the black jersey concept, black uniform concept, and we botched it. So
And
thank
just
you.
like, look at that. From this distance, that looks like nothing.
It
That
looks
looks
like
like a mountain
squiggles.
range.
yeah.
Like
It's
that just looks like scribble
squiggles.
scrabble.
Yeah,
Like, you know what Philly has? If you wanted to do this, an iconic skyline.
yeah.
Just do the fucking skyline. Like, there was a way to not screw this up as bad as you did, but you went with the thing that like, oh yeah, Boathouse Row. That's cool when I drive by it, and then never think about it again until I'm driving by it again.
Yeah.
Like that. All right. So that's a good list. That's a good
Solid
number one.
list.
Let's get to my list with
Let's
number
go.
5. This is I much like you said with the full uniform. I dig these hats a lot. The blue
I
hat
love it.
with
I
the
have one
red
too.
label or with the red
Yep.
brim, I like.
This is wild.
Cream is not a Phillies color. Why is it this color?
It's just off white.
And why is it a pullover? Like I just don't. Baseball jerseys button up.
I was thinking to myself,
yeah.
putting my list together. Oh wow, the Phillies have never had a bad uniform.
Yeah.
I just really don't. I don't get why
I do
it's
like
off
the
white.
buttons though because I like when they get slutty.
Yeah,
The buttons
exactly.
open. It's
When
nice.
Nick Castellanos
Yeah,
is sitting here in a pullover. What are we
Nah,
doing?
That's not good. That's true.
Like these bother me. The Phillies off white. Why?
The alternate red ones that they've been doing the last few years, that one's probably. But if that,
They are
the Phillies have
very
some
red.
good ones.
I
though.
thought about using the alternate red because those just look like spring training jerseys to me.
Literally,
And I
literally.
don't like red. Like
Mhm.
white with pinstripes, fine. You can barely see the red. Like I have 30, 40 hats. I don't think I have one regular Phillies red hat.
Do you like the maroon ones? Like the
Oh, I
darker
love
red?
those. I
Those are
absolutely
great, yeah.
love those. When they wore the all burgundy a couple years ago,
I like that.
I
too.
love that. I have one of those. But I just, the cream, I don't get why they wear it. Why is it off white? You know what makes it off white? Slide head first, and your jersey will be dirty and off white. Problem solved. All right, so that's number 5 for me. Let's go to number 4. The all white Eagles, the regular all white. When they wear
Okay.
the black pants with the green stripe, or just the green pants with them, it's not as bad. But like just the jersey itself, it's just plain and ugly. Like there's barely any green.
It is very
There's
plain.
nothing distinctive about it. It's just a white jersey with green numbers. There's some black stripes around the sleeves. Like, there's nothing to it.
Just wear the Kelly Green away ones.
Honestly, like the midnight green, I'm fine with. It looks like, at least it looks like an Eagles jersey. This just looks like a plain jersey. There's nothing to it. Let's go to number 3.
Number 3.
Yeah, these
Really?
reverse retros. Now, again, had they actually worn the Cooperall pants,
Yes.
would have been fine. I mean, it looks like roller hockey to me, but like again, if you're gonna go
Yeah,
ridiculous,
do it.
go ridiculous.
Yeah.
They wore the Cooperalls for warm-ups and then changed into regular uniform pants.
I know.
There's no orange in these jerseys. I hate it.
That jersey was infuriating because I feel like it was so close to good.
Yeah.
and they just
Like they could have done a
it.
couple of things to make it good, and it's just
they do that a lot lately with the Flyers jerseys.
Yeah.
just miss.
Just miss. Yeah.
Is it really that uncomfortable to wear Cooperalls?
It's my understanding that it's dangerous because if they fall down, they slide too much. Like they can't stop.
Yeah.
That's what
that
I've
makes
heard.
sense.
I don't know if that's true or not,
Okay.
but
That
it's
makes
my
sense.
understanding that's why they don't wear them.
There are very few things more terrifying than when you're sliding out of control.
Yeah.
Like it's happened to me like once or twice in my entire time
Slam
playing
on
through
boards.
high school, and like when you can't figure out a way, like it's all right. How do I go into the boards the least dangerous
Yeah, exactly.
way?
Right.
Like, do I turn? Like, do I go now? Don't want to go in knees first. Like, that is horrifying. So I get it, but I'll figure out something, man. Like, there's a way to make them
a scratchy material or something.
If someone knows where to buy these, please let me know because I do want a pair. I do actually really like these, so please hit me up.
No, the pants are great. The jersey sucks.
Oh, now it's my like mission in life to get you a pair of Cooperalls.
Let's go to my my second worst jersey. I don't. Oh yeah, this one made my list as well.
Thank you.
Like again, this is an even more zoomed in photo. Still have no idea what that is.
Squiggly lines.
It looks like Chinese symbol writing. Like I have no idea what that is.
So many more other concepts they could have done with this with the black. I meant not Boathouse Row. If you want to do Boathouse Row, whatever. But like, don't use the black that we waited for so long.
I don't know anyone who incorporates this with that.
No.
So let's get to my number one. The gold number. It's just so ugly.
It's real bad.
There's just nothing. The Flyers don't wear gold. Having the gold and the orange, it's just all.
So, but like, is like I didn't know. Like, does gold represent 50?
Is that the 50th anniversary thing? Like, wood is 5, and whatever that stuff is.
Yeah,
it's just ugly. It's freaking ugly. And again,
at least make it sparkly.
This poor man wearing this, the look on his face is a real great representation of the era as well. Like do something. They went for it, but didn't. It's just another, like, are you embarrassed of your, I don't know. It just bothers me. So those are our 5 worst jerseys.
That was fun.
Be
that
sure
was
to,
fun.
it was. Yeah, it's Friday.
Yeah.
I wanted to mix it up a little, do some fun stuff. Before we get back to some actual hockey topics, I got to tell you about Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills. I can see all of my subscriptions in one place, and if I see something I don't want, I can cancel it with just a tap. I never have to get on the phone with customer service. They'll even try to get a refund for you for the last couple of months of wasted money and negotiate to lower your bills for you by up to 20%. All you have to do is take a picture of your bill, and Rocket Money takes care of the rest. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has helped save its members an average of $720 a year with over 500 million in canceled subscriptions. So stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/PHLY. That's rocketmoney.com/PHLY. rocketmoney.com/PHLY. Had to make sure I was looking at the right camera there, but I got it. I'm getting better at the whole camera thing.
Yeah.
So that's the 5 worst jerseys. Oh, the skills competition we didn't get to talk about yesterday. Is that tonight? Is that what's happening?
I think so.
We should know this.
Probably.
But you had, Kelly, an issue with the way it's being done this year.
I do have an issue with
everyone is not involved in the NHL skills competition. It's a competition between like 8 dudes.
Yeah.
And not everyone's in every. I think everyone has 2 competitions they're not in, and it's a competition for $1 million amongst these guys.
And Connor McDavid is the person that made up. It's my understanding he made up the skills competition, which Connor McDavid is like a saltine cracker. Like there's not a lot of. He doesn't seem like a fun guy to me, so I'm curious to see if this is going to be a good time. But like, here's the thing. No one cares about the actual all-star game. Like, the 3-on-3 has made it a little bit more fun, I will say. But like, the game generally is not that much fun. The skills competition is almost always a lot of fun to watch. And you want to see your guy do something. Like, it doesn't even matter what it is, really. Like, how hard can Travis Konecny shoot the puck? Probably not that hard, but it would be fun to see him try. Like, it just seems silly to me to not. This is just a fan service event like it doesn't mean anything to anybody. The guys don't really even want to be there. So like
That's why they had to put $1 million on the line.
let me watch Travis Konecny hit the targets in the corners of the let me see something. I don't know. It's just annoying to me. I don't like it.
It's funny because I feel like every league has this problem. Like the all-star games for every league, like it's essentially like a joke. No one really likes to watch them. But every league does have these skills competition. And this is where people draw their eyes to. And you have to make it the best product that there is on the weekend.
And I will say, like, the NBA, it's not just the all-stars. Because there's so many, like the best 3-point, I mean, other than like Steph or something. But like, it's such a specialized game now that it's like, yeah, we got to have Kyle. He's not an all-star, but we need Kyle Korver in the 3-point competition because he's like top 5 at this, you know? So let's have him in this.
That's a good point.
That said, we have for years lambasted the NHL for not marketing its stars properly.
Yes.
Like it's a team game. We have to have, you know who's just as important as Connor McDavid? It's Pat Maroon. Like, no, he's fucking not. I'm sorry. Like, this is a lot of the best players in hockey, and they are in a legitimate showcase here. It is a showcase of all of their abilities. Like, McKinnon versus McDavid is what I want to see. You know who, like, sometimes someone comes in and steals hard a shot, and that's cool. I don't care, though. Like, I want to know how hard Cale Makar shoots.
Fuck that. Here's the thing. The good guys would still be doing it. There's nothing more fun than when some random ass player wins a competition that you never thought they were going to win. Like, what if Travis Konecny did win hardest shot? Like, he went up there and rocketed like 103 mile an hour shot or something out of nowhere. Like, it would be hilarious.
I'd say
it would be the biggest story.
We need to calibrate that gun.
I'm just saying, like, that. Those are the funnest moments in the NHL All-Star games is when guys that you don't expect to do something. I know Connor McDavid is really fast. Is it going to be fun to watch him go really fast? Yeah, sure, I'm going to watch it. But it's not as fun as seeing a bunch of random dudes do silly things. Also, I hate that they took out the really fun parts of the skills competition. Remember when they did the one where they like all dressed up and did weird trick shots? That was a good time.
But like that's
I know. They can't
players don't want to do anything. Like that's the thing with the NHL. These guys, if left to their own devices, would play in empty buildings all the time, and there would be no media, and they'd just be getting paid somehow. They don't know how because there'd be no one watching. Right. But like they just want to play hockey on a pond in the middle of Nova Scotia. Like I don't know if there are ponds in Nova Scotia. I assume there are. Yeah. But like, that's what they would like to be doing. I like that they're trying something, and it's basically all the players whose names you know. I love Travis Konecny. He is not on the same level as these guys.
No, he's not. But they're in the same All-Star game, aren't they?
They are, absolutely. Right. But I would rather see Nathan McKinnon than him. That's all I'm saying.
I need Nathan McKinnon to win every single one of these competitions, by the way.
I want to see a Mac McClung win the dunk contest.
Now that's fair.
See what I'm saying?
That was, I mean, I almost bought a Mac McClung jersey. I think they still have them available. But
what's he doing
also, it's kind of like that gets to the what were the ratings for that as opposed to what were the ratings for if Michael Jordan were in the goddamn dunk competition, you know?
Let's get
like
if
LeBron did it, 1 million more people would watch. Yeah. That's all. This gets me to the thing I wanted to talk about. Just some stuff we need to catch up on a little bit. Expansion into Utah. I like getting to talk about like stuff around the league because Charlie never wants to. And just and beyond Utah. Like there's going to be like 34, 36 teams in this league one day.
It's too many.
Yeah.
Is it though?
It is.
I got to tell you, first of all, I do appreciate the argument that while they already have 32 teams, which is tied for the NFL for the most in major sports, 6 of them, or is it 8? How many are in Canada? 6 or 8?
8, right?
Whatever it is, they have the fewest in the United States out of any of the major leagues. So they want to expand their footprint in the United States because like that's where money is real and that's where TV ratings are real. I just bought something on eBay from Canada. The exchange rate's hilarious. It was like $4 cheaper than I thought it was going to be. It was great. But anyway, like I think it makes sense to expand the league a little bit more to have more American markets to match what the other leagues have.
There are already teams that, one of them doesn't have an arena. Several of them say all the time that they don't make any money. New Jersey was one of the best teams in the league last year. I went to a game middle of the season. The building was like maybe 2/3 full. Like, the league can't really sustain the number of teams that it has now. Some of these teams should be moved. Some of them should probably be contracted. There don't need to be more teams. Like, if Utah needs a team, take the one in Arizona that literally plays in a college arena and whose ownership can't seem to get their shit together. Put them in Utah. Why do we need a new one?
I just, like, every team in the league, I think the lowest percentage for tickets sold is like 85%. Like, there's no one in an empty building.
I don't believe that.
And these owners cry broke. They're not
liars.
actually broke.
No, I know that for sure.
And
but
since they constantly cry broke to screw over the players, charging someone $1 billion helps mitigate that as an expansion fee.
Except that it's just distributed amongst all of the other asshole billionaires that don't spend any money.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I do think this new Players Association is going to push for something.
I certainly hope
Whether
so.
it's just like, yo, you just got $1 billion and you're talking about 1 to 3 more expansion teams. Maybe let's get rid of escrow. Like, that would be positive for the players.
How
but
about
also
a salary cap, if you're going to insist on one, that actually pays players like professional athletes and not like some weird Mickey Mouse shit. There's so many problems in the NHL.
One thing that I have noticed, a couple of weeks ago, I think we talked about like the explosion in scoring. And like going back, it wasn't that long ago that Jamie Benn won the Art Ross with like 87 or 89 points or something. That's embarrassing, quite honestly. The year before Vegas entered the league, McDavid scored 100 points even. Crosby and Patrick Kane were tied for second in the league with 89. First year Vegas was in the league, there were 3 100-point scorers. Seattle comes in a couple years later. 8 guys hit 100 points. 3 had 115 plus. Last year, 11 100-point scorers, including a defenseman, and 2 more guys hit 99.
And you think this is because there's fewer good
The
players?
league is too good. It was too good. Now you're actually getting like a disparity between the best and worst players, and the best players are able to take advantage of that. And you can actually market stars now because they look like fucking stars. They're able to take advantage when they're at home. It's like a third or fourth line is out there, get someone out, and they're going to score because they're so much better than these guys. I think watering down the league is good. It makes the best players look that much better.
No.
I mean, then we're going to start turning into the Premier League in soccer. And you're going to have like the
It's fine
same...
with me.
Well, then you got to do relegation.
Yeah, you want promotion relegation? Bill?
Yeah, sure. No, I think
hurts my head.
I think the league is
much.
going in the right direction right now, and I think more teams is fun.
All right. Well, you guys bring up really good points, but like, let's just look at like the markets that we have here in the United States. I do think it's important to continue growing the game in the South. I think there needs to be more competent ownership in some of those franchises as well. But when I look at Utah, like I feel like it's made for this league. And imagine like the rivalries with Colorado and the Vegas Golden Knights, who are having some really good teams.
So was Quebec. Why can't they have
Well,
a
I mean,
team?
that's another.
See, that is a place I can see moving a failing team to, because also like, you know who's going to vote against that? The other Canadian owners. They all really like having their share of the marketplace. Like Utah, there's a lot of open space out there. There's a whole lot of open space in the West and Midwest to have teams.
Do Mormons like sports?
I don't know. The Utah Jazz do pretty well.
Oh, yeah.
And that's if they're getting an arena, like have 2 teams in there.
I guess.
Got Real Salt Lake.
Yeah, exactly.
Are they really called Real Salt Lake?
They
Yeah.
are really
Yeah.
called
Oh,
Real
no.
Salt Lake. There's a couple of MLS
The
teams that have like
whitest
identity
state
problems.
in the entire union, and
Yeah.
we're calling it okay.
If
No,
I
I
could
just-
have it, if I could have it my way, Kel, the Whalers and the Nordiques would be back in the NHL. But unfortunately, there's money, and unfortunately, those markets don't produce a lot
Move
of
the
money.
Devils to Hartford.
I'm in. In.
Like talk about a market that doesn't need. I guess New England could have another team, but
Hartford
again,
doesn't need an NHL
yeah.
team.
Finally, this is just fun to me. It's not fun that Todd McClellan got fired. The Kings looked really good, and now they can't buy a win.
Mm-mm.
The coaches get fired nonstop in this league.
They sure do.
There are, I counted this before the
They just get
show.
recycled.
There are 5 coaches in the league right now who were hired prior to 2020. Like there are 5 pre-pandemic coaches. with the same team. John Cooper in March 2013, longest tenured coach.
That is wild.
Then you have Mike Sullivan in December 2015, Jared Bednar, August 2016, Rod Brendamore, May 2018, and Sheldon Keefe, November 2019.
That one's wild.
Yeah, like
How he didn't get fired is fucking wild to me.
It is.
But anyway.
23 of 32 coaches in the league were hired in or later than 2022. That is fucking insane. Like, coaches get fired all the time.
But it seems like you have to do that because look at what Vegas did. Bruce Cassidy comes in, boom, Stanley Cup.
It's really coaches' shelf lives. Like John Tortorella hired June 17th, 2022. He's in the top half of longest tenured. He's the 12th longest tenured coach in the league.
So here's the thing. Outside of Sheldon Keefe, these are the 4 coaches in the NHL that I think actually make an appreciable difference to the success of their team. I think most coaches don't really they don't really move the needle that much as far as like, is this team good or is this team bad? I think maybe Tortorella is making a case for himself with what he's done with the Flyers because they probably shouldn't be this good. Well, as good as they were before the last couple of weeks. Anyway, so the real problem is that NHL general managers have like one button to push when shit starts to go wrong, and it's fire the coach. Because otherwise I'm going to get fired. So I got to fire the coach, see what happens, just cross my fingers that things get better, and then I won't get fired for putting together a shitty team that can't win any hockey games.
How long do you think Torts has before? Because so much we always hear. Like, especially Laviolette is one of these guys. Craig Berube, the message, eventually. Mm-hmm. The hard-nosed guys especially. Well, the message only has so long before they're just tired of hearing it. Ken Hitchcock, like, you don't want to put up with this dude. You're not going to have to for very long, probably.
John Hines is still out there.
Yeah,
too.
like, how long do you think Torts has as the coach of this team?
I really think he has until he decides that he wants to go upstairs and be a suit. I really do. I mean, unless things like really go off the rails, which would mean, honestly, it would mean that Briere has to do a lot of things to make bad moves, and a lot of things have to go wrong for, I think, things to go that far off the rails. Or the entire team quits on Torts, which honestly doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon because so many guys are buying in.
Yeah, when we're talking about Owen Tippett, an 8-year extension, Scott Laughton, well, we might not trade him. Like Nick Seeler, we're going to bring back. Like these dudes, I can't imagine who are all getting paid, at least in part, because like Travis Konecny is going to get $8+ million, where I didn't ever think that was like really who he was.
Yeah.
John Tortorella is like, oh yeah, let's put him on the penalty kill, and like now he leads the league in shorthanded goals.
Yeah.
Like these dudes, at least in part, are getting paid because what Torts has done. Mm-hmm. I wonder how long he has, because I've always had it in my head like it's John Tortorella. This thing ain't going to last forever. I always thought he moves up into the organization somewhere else. I didn't think they were going to kick him. Like, who was it in Florida where they were just like, find a cab. Like, there's like video of him like putting his shit.
Gallant,
Gallant. Like,
oh my
I never
God.
thought it was going to be that. Like, you're not flying home with us. Get yourself, find a ride. But behind the bench, dudes don't have that long, as shown by this list. 23 of 32 coaches hired in or after 2022. Like, it seems as if he might be closer to the top of the Sheldon Keefe, Rod Brendamore than, oh yeah, he's getting fired in 6 months.
Oh, 100%.
I could see him doing 5 years as a head coach at the minimum with the Flyers.
Do you ever see a time we get rid of coaches entirely, at least behind the bench, where it's like a totally different
Just have 'em
situation?
up top, like the
Just
Yeah,
AI
like
coaches.
they're offensive coordinators, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my God. We have like
It would
AI
be so
coaches.
fun.
The positionless hockey is coming.
Yeah. The players know what they're doing.
Players
Just let them go do stuff.
Yeah,
Score pucks.
yeah.
Pucks.
Do we really need John Tortorella telling people when to go over the boards? No. Just go. You know when you're done. When you're
We
done
get
your
a-
shift, come
you
off,
get a whole
somebody else
lot,
comes
like,
on.
I guess in between, like intermission, would he have to be like Joel Farabee? You're not playing the rest of the game.
I guess
like
we'd have
you'd
to
get a
come
lot
down
less of that,
and
right?
yell at
Would
people.
how would you relay those messages? I guess.
Yeah.
The goalie's getting shelled. Like we're gonna have to pull him. Like that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's all the coach. All right. I find this hilarious and wonder if the Flyers are just going to fall into one of these two categories. Like, oh, yeah, we pulled the string and now Craig Berube's the coach.
Oh, my God.
Or as Keith Jones told us, is not happening. But you never know.
Maybe John Tortorella, this version of John Tortorella, is going to be like a Rod Brindamore, where players just really fucking love playing for him. Maybe.
I think so.
We'll see.
Time will tell, especially when you get more talent, more young talent in here. We'll see how they respond as well. So we'll see.
Is there anything else going on that we need to talk about?
We're going to the Olympics.
Oh yeah, the Olympics. That's fun. So I've grown to like the players going to the Olympics.
It's the best.
I always thought like in 80 when it was like guys like actually who want to be there, but these dudes love playing for their country.
Last Olympics stunk for hockey.
Yeah, I always thought I would want to see it, and then I saw it and it was like, this is not good.
It wasn't good.
Like, if it's gonna be best on best, I want to see the actual.
We're gonna get to see McDavid versus Matthews. It's gonna be sick as hell.
It's gonna be fun.
I'm personally going to be camping outside of whatever the White House in Canada is, to ensure that Claude
it's
Giroux
Tim Hortons, I think,
gets a spot on the team, because they fucking owe him.
They do. I feel like
in 2 years he could be a fourth liner on.
I think it's over. I think G's Olympic dream is over.
It doesn't have
it's
to
a
be.
shame. It's a shame what has happened to Claude Giroux in terms of the Olympics.
Best season of his career. They didn't take him.
I guess. All right. That is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers. Remember that this show is brought to you by Mortgage CS. Check out mortgagecs.com/PHLY to start your home buying process today. Company NMLS ID number 1464766. That'll do it for us. We will be back on Monday. Well, some semblance of us will be back on Monday. I have no idea if Charlie's back or if his vacation continues forever. I don't know. Until then, make sure you're following us right here on YouTube. Set your reminders. Never miss a show. Twitter at PHLY_sports, PHLY Flyers, wherever there are podcasts. My name is Bill Batts. For JP, for Kelly, have a great weekend, Philly.
See you guys.
We all silly like the mayor.